Hello there, it's Sharon from Mad Paper Crush, and I just wanted to do some ephemera today to finish up a journal I've been working on, and I figured I'd turn on the camera and you could kind of see what I do to get some of this stuff ready to put into my junk journal. So what I have is just some extra. I realized I needed some extra. I'd already made some, but I needed some extra ephemera to stick into pockets and tuck spots and things like that. So I made a couple of tags and some tickets and a smaller tag here. And then I have some journal cards with some Asian birds on them that I really like. And so here we go, let's get started. So the first thing I did was I printed the journal cards on cardstock, but because I didn't want to print a whole back page, you know, that covered this, and I didn't want the back to be white, I did print it on some cardstock that was single-sided so that when I cut it out, you know, there will be place to journal and write on the back of the card, and it's also pretty sturdy. And then for this one, I wanted to just print it out onto regular white cardstock. So this one's, you know, going to be a little bit more work, but I'm just going to age up some of the smaller items. And I think what I'm going to do for the big tags, they printed out a little bigger than I thought, but I'm going to use some of these tea-stained time cards. And I think I'm going to glue them to that, and then I'll probably have to cut these down just a little bit, but I think that'll turn out nice and give them some weight when they go into the book. So let's get started. So first I'm just going to cut these down. So these journal cards are all ready to go. There's nothing really that needs to be done with them, except obviously to cut them out. And that's always a nice thing when you don't have to do too much work on something. So get these all cut nice and neat with my trimmer. I don't think I did that one very good, but then probably what I'll do with these as well as I go through them is make sure that I have them aged up with some of my distress ink. So I'll show you that too when we get to it. And hopefully I printed them well enough to just cut them right out, which I think we did. And this one journal card has some rounded edges, so I will get those taken care of too. If I can find my corner rounder. Okay. So these three are pretty much ready to go. I probably will do a little bit of inking around them just to make sure there's no white edges that show there. And then this one, oh, there it is. I don't know if my corner rounder will, oh yeah, perfect. Take care of those edges for me. That one was a little goofy for some reason. All right, got that one nice and rounded up. And let's go ahead and distress these so that they are ready to go. So I'm using Vintage Photo Distress ink from Tim Holtz. And we're just gonna go around them. They already have a little bit of printed distress, but since you know, I'm printing on cardstock, I want to make sure those white edges aren't showing. And actually that one, I don't think I cut that one very good, so let's give this a little trim here. There we go. There we go. That's nice. Ready to go. And these cards I actually made. I found a beautiful book of these Asian birds and I extracted them. And then I created the cards on top of some of my own ephemera that I had, and also some ephemera from the Graphics Fairy. I love her stuff. That one's, I think that postcard is from the Graphics Fairy as well as this postcard. I like the brown and the green background there. That's nice. Give those edges a little extra. All right. So these are all ready to go. Actually, I may distress the backs a little bit too. So I lied, not all ready to go, almost ready to go. So those are ready to go. Put those aside. All right, so now we got to deal with these guys. So first I'm gonna cut out the tags. I'm gonna cut out the tags. Let's see. Actually, maybe I'll do the bottom half first. And cut out the tickets and the small tag. And I think I'm just gonna leave a little bit of extra around the tags at the top so that when I put them on those time cards, I can, you know, cut around them, and I only have to cut them, you know, once. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And all right, so for this one, because it's been printed just on white cardstock, I want to distress them a little bit. So before I cut them out, just to make it easier, I'm just going to distress the whole back of this and see how this goes. I'm going to try not to leave too much. If you, sometimes you can see my little circle there. Whoa, sorry, things are dropping all over the place. Table's not too sturdy. All right, and I think this will just be enough to give the background a nice look. Let's see if I'm covering the right things. Yep. All right, make sure I got this tag. Oops, I think I need more at the top here. And I can always, once I cut these out, we can fix them up a little too. All right, so I think that looks pretty good on the back. We'll cut them out, and if we need to add a little bit more, we can do that. I should have cut the tops and bottoms off first. And the journal that I'm working on is, it's actually an altered book. Here, I'll show it to you real quick. I'm going to do a full walkthrough in a different video, but it's a book that was Anna and the King of Siam. And so I've redone it, but I've kind of kept to this theme, thinking of, you know, kind of a governess going into a strange land and living there and the things she might see. So these tickets, I just imagine in my mind might be, you know, tickets to go see a theater production over there that maybe she kept because she enjoyed it so much. All right. And then get this tag here. All right. We'll do the trimming. And let's take a look at the back here quick. Okay, see this one? I don't know if you can see that. Needs a little work here on the edges, but we'll get to that. I'm probably These might need a little bit too, although they look pretty good. This one maybe needs a little bit. So while I'm looking at it, let's go ahead and do that. These two need some work. Those look all right. There we go. And then once I get them all cut out, I'll distress around the edges. I tried to layer in, I don't know if you can see that, layer in some music there with some Asian printing. So, and English numbers. All right. So those are all done. Let's get them inked up, and then we'll work on the tickets. The big tags. So these are all done. Now let's see what we can do with these tickets here. So once again, I'm not gonna worry about too much how I'm cutting them apart, since I want to glue down the tags, these time tickets on them as well. I just want to be sure I have them in the right spot. So okay, so the only thing I need to worry about here, I think, so you see, I am going to have to cut off the sides a little bit, but that's okay. And same with these. I have to cut off the sides a little bit, but this one doesn't have anything. I might have to worry about this rose here, but I think we can figure that out. Even if I have to cut it down, it's not a big deal. So, all right, so now I just need to decide what side in or out. So this is sort of the schedule, and then this one has dependents and earnings and things like that. I think I'll just leave the schedule as what comes out on the outside there. All right, and so it has to go closer to this side. And I think maybe what I'll do, can you tell I don't know what I'm doing here? All right, so I kind of want the bottom half, yep. So, and then this will have to go up maybe to, where's my pencil? Just make a little mark so that I know how much glue I have to put on here. And I think I'm going to try my Yoo-Hoo stick here. It's a small one, but, and I always like to put a piece of paper underneath. So I just have this scrap deli paper. And I'm going to try and get all the way to the edges, and then probably what I'll do, since I'm gluing this down, is I will go back in and put a stitch around the whole thing just to keep it secure. All right, so now I'm going to make sure I get a little bit over there. All right, whoops, I did get some glue on the front. All right, so let's do this one, same thing. And I think this time I'll go down a little bit so that we have the Monday. This one's going to get cut off at Tuesday. So this one we'll do from the top down. And then same thing, I will get my glue on. I take my paper out, it won't cause such a problem. All right, so make sure that the time ticket is in the middle of the color of the printed part there. And we'll let that dry a little bit. This one looks pretty good. So now we're gonna cut it down. And we'll see how it looks if I need to do some additional trimming to make sure okay, so this one I'll have to turn over so that I can make sure I get the tag off. And this one, just a tiny little bit I think I need to take off here. Oof. Maybe a tiny bit more. There we go. Yeah, it looks better. Okay, I think that turned out pretty well. So we'll do our little clipping of the edges here. You know what, because that is there, I think I'm going to need to do the flip. Because I did take off some of the side of that one. Let's see if I can do this. It's not too bad there. All right, we can add our hole, which I may need to put a little bit bigger too. That's a good start there. All right, let's see how this one did. And we'll do the same thing. I'm just gonna start cutting it down and then we'll fudge it as we need to. That one, and then see here. Yeah, that one's pretty good, and I did end up, I think, taking a little bit off of that one too. So let's see. Yeah, we can do the same thing. Cut this edge off, and then just to make sure we have it even, we'll flip it over to here to cut the other side off. Oh, okay, it's not easy to hold. All right, and put our hole in here as well. All right, looks good. I like them, and they're nice and sturdy. Those time cards are pretty sturdy. And of course, we'll add a little distressing. After I ink these up, I'm going to sew around them a little bit, and then just add a nice little stitch in there. Make sure that the glue doesn't, come undone. And then I'm going to add some ribbon or some thread or something to the top there. Let's see how that looks. Once I get done distressing the tags, which takes me a lot longer than you would think, as I realized I needed to do the front and the back because I wanted to make sure I added some touches in and around on the sides a little bit. I'm going to go off screen and do some stitching and bring back some additional pieces so that we can finish up the ephemera together. All right, I'm back, and I just wanted to show you real quick. I added some stitching all around the outside of these tags, and I was just going to finish them up and show you the finished product, but then I thought, why not? I'll just do this on camera as well in case you wanted to see how we got them finished out. So I already started this one, and I put just some reinforcements that I've distressed already on the front and back there to give it a nice finished look. And so we'll do the same with that one here. So here's my little sheet of these reinforcements, and I like to put a little glue on them, a little permanent glue on them, just to be sure they stay where I put them. Don't end up falling off. And there's going to be ribbon around there anyway, but I just want to make sure they're nice and finished. So I'm just adding these to both sides, like so. All right, and then I will, since this one's a little drier, we'll go ahead and do that one. I think what I was going to do with this one, I wanted to add kind of this red ribbon to it. So I'm just going to put it through here. The ends through. And then I think to make sure it kind of stays where I want it to, I'm just going to give it a little double knot at the top here as well. So it could still, that loop could still come up over, but I think we'll be all right like that. Yes, I like that. Then I'm just going to cut these down a little. All right. And that one's done. And this one, I had this little twine here that I think I'm going to use. And the other thing I think I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little charm to this one maybe. So I have these little hooks, these little, I think they're garment pins. And maybe I'll find a little key. Yes, that looks cute with that. And so first let's go ahead and put this on. And this one I'm just going to tie through, I think, and double knot. Like that. And I want to be sure the knot stays above the paper there so I don't like end up getting that all messed up. And I want to leave it loose enough, tight knot, but loose enough so that I can add my little pin in here. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up and just put my key on it there. And then we'll just, whoa, and we'll drop it on the floor. That's what we'll do. That's not it. Of course, there's so much stuff down here that I can't find it. Okay, there we go. Let's try this again. Yes, there we go. That has a nice little key on it now. Okay, so this one is definitely done. Tighten up that knot a little bit. I may go back and put just a little dab of glue on there too, just to make sure it stays. All right, and then the next thing I wanted to do is this guy. I wanted to finish him up, and what I decided to do was I'm going to put a little rivet in there so that when I add the ribbon, it's going to show through there. So I have this little kit here to do my rivets. It's making memories. I think it came from Macy Moore, maybe? It's been a while. Okay, so I have my hole already, so all I need to do is add my crimper here. So I want the nice side on this side of this. Let's see here. Close that up, get that out of the way. So from the back, I'm just going to put that on here. Smoosh it a couple times. Now we have a nice little rivet there. Nice little finishing touch. Oops, I got it in there too. Get that out of the way. All right, and then I have this little black ribbon that I think I'm going to use, and I think I'm going to do the same thing I did with the other one, if I can weasel it through here. Let's see. There we go. And we'll just tie the ends off. Sometimes it's easier to wiggle one side at a time. It doesn't want to go through since that was a tight fit. I like how that looks. And I think once again I am going to tie a little knot in here. See if I can make sure it just stays together. Wouldn't want it coming apart there. All right, once again, we'll just trim these up a little. And there we have it. So now I think I finally have enough things that I can get this book finished up. So I'm just going to lay everything out for you. I did a couple of big tags, little tag, some tickets here, and then our cards, our journal cards. And so there you have it. Thanks for watching.